Hello knitters. This is dreadful. Hello knitters, welcome to the Braid and Tinker podcast. My name is Melanie and I am a knitter, a hand dyer and a software developer. If you hear bleeping noises in the background, that is not my laptop, it's my boyfriend's laptop and I don't know how to shut that off, so just ignore the bleeping part for now. If you hear combat noises in the background, that is my actual boyfriend playing video games downstairs, so also ignore that part. I have closed the windows because all of the neighbours are doing DIY at the moment. I think we're safe from that. Welcome, my name is Melanie. I think I said that. I am anyway, it's Monday 21st. It's Pentecost, which is a national holiday in the Netherlands for some reason. So it's like Easter, but then doing it all over again a little bit later. Nobody really knows why. Nobody's really very religious anymore. We just have a day off. And I think most people are fine with that. So that's why most people are doing DIY. It's because they have a day off. An additional day off, and then it's time for stuff. Anyway, I feel like this is going to be this is podcast number 10. I think this is going to be the worst one yet, so I apologize for that. I have been doing stuff. I went to a craft fair in Haarlem yesterday. I had a hackathon at work on Friday, but I'll talk about all of that later in the episode. I think I should start with my whips because I have a couple. This is my Blauwfjell sweater. Hang on, there it is. It hasn't probably changed much from last time you've seen it, but that's because I've gone to the stockinette parts, which is not very interesting. So it's slowly growing. I can put a progress keeper at this part, and then next time you'll see how far I've gotten. But yes, interesting bit about the Blauwfjell sweater. It's no longer called that. The designer of the Blauwfjell sweater is Ellie from Skade Knits, and she was hit by a cease and desist because of the name of that pattern, because something in Norway, blah blah blah, stuff, a young company, I think. It's not very, I'm not very clear on the details. Anyway, somebody has claimed that the word Blauwfjell, which is Blue Mountain in Norwegian, is part of their franchise, and said that she is no longer allowed to use that name. So it is now called the Winterfjell sweater, which is fine by me because that almost looks like the Dutch word, or English word I guess, for winter, and it's much easier to pronounce. So Winterfjell sweater. Yeah, so I've gone and updated all my social media hashtags and stuff. So we will no longer refer to this thing as the Blauwfjell sweater. From now on, it's Winterfjell. Yeah, I still love it. Just have a ton of work to do on this jumper. And I think I might need to do a little fit again to see how it sort of fits on me, because I kind of want to, I don't want to say chesty, which is a bit of a weird thing to say about yourself, but I don't have a very flat chest. So I always need to be wary that things don't just like move out and then drop down like a tent. I need it to do some decreases to rein things back in a bit so that they look fitted. Yes, so I'm going to have to do a little fitting to see what that point is so I can start doing some decreases, because I don't want this to be an oversized, brightly coloured tent. I think it will look nice on me if it's a bit fitted. The only thing is I have needles in this, but they're not big enough for the circumference of the sweater, so I have to, every time I try to fit it, I have to put other needles, pick up some stitches, so there's like 2 circular needles holding the thing together. Then I can sort of like squeeze my arms in like a little T-Rex, trying to not move any of the stitches and not get the needles out of the whole thing, and then I can fit it, which is a bit of a palaver, which is why I've been putting it off. But I do need to do that before I ink or before I knit much further, because at a certain point I do need to do some decreases. Anyway, Vinterfjell sweater. So just dropped on the floor. Oof, I could use a drink though. Blimey. So my next project is the Mount, it's a new cast on actually, it's the Mount Pleasant Tea, which is a pattern by Pip and Pin. Maybe I'll just, it's a bit better to take it out. So it's a cropped t-shirt with a lacy hem, and yeah, so I've started that because I've been wanting to knit this thing for a long time, and I bought some yarn for it in Edinburgh. So this is the yarn. It is Blacker Yarns Lyonesse. The only thing is I got the DK, and this pattern really, I should have bought they have a 4-ply version. I should have bought that because it's thinner and it actually matches the pattern. So yes, I did gauge swatch, but the thing about gauge swatches is, 1, I don't like doing them, 2, I don't like doing them, and 3, I apparently knit completely different when I'm doing a swatch. Even if I'm doing the in the roundy swatch thing, I knit like super tight, and then I start doing the actual project and I'm all over the place. So the swatch and the actual garment never even match for me. So Derek always tells me off. Derek's very sort of, you know, proper, I guess, in his knitting. He's always making a swatch and telling me off for not swatching. And I just say, I just do a giant swatch. And he thinks that's ridiculous. But anyway. So the thing I'm doing now, actually, I'm knitting the size that is exactly my measurements. So in like it has almost no positive ease. Because this yarn is not very stretchy. It is linen. Oh yeah, I can say that. This yarn is a Falkland wool linen blend. It's 50-50. It's very not stretchy. And so I'm thinking that because the weight of the yarn is a DK, so it's a bit bigger than the 4-ply, which is actually in the pattern. I'm just using the needles that are recommended, and I'm thinking that's going to work out. Okay, so cue to like 4 weeks later where I'm crying because I've done it all wrong, but it seems to be looking correct at the moment. It's a bottom up t-shirt, or yeah, shirt thing, and I just need one more of the lace repeats, because it has like 3 lace repeats, and then you knit the rest of the thing, which is good. It's just that I think it's the same problem as with the Vinterfjell sweater. You kind of do you do like the color, it's top down, but you do the stranded color work, which is like fun knit, and then you get to, I mean, it's glorious stockinette, but seriously, it's also a little bit boring, and I'm a little bit worried that's going to happen with this one as well. It's like fun lace part, and then tons of stockinette, and it's going to slow down considerably, I think. Also, I found, because this yarn is quite, I don't know, dense, I'd say, and not stretchy because of the 50% linen, and doing the lace work, I had to stop doing it yesterday at a certain point because it was just hurting my hand. And I've learnt in these years of knitting that as soon as your hand hurts, you need to completely stop whatever you're doing. I had tendinitis last year in my thumb for months. It was, and what I did, which I realised now was really stupid, is I would just knit anyway, and just keep going. And at a certain point, I had real problems with my hand, and I could almost no longer lift up my son. Knitting was too painful, and it was starting to affect my work as well, starting to like typing on the I want to say typewriter, but I just mean on the keyboard. Typing on the keyboard was painful. So I went to the GP, and he said, well, you have tendinitis, and there's like a ton of stuff that we can do. There's physical therapy, we can inject steroids in your thumb. I was like, yeah, I'll just stop knitting for a little bit and see how that goes. So last year in the summer, I actually gave up knitting for 4 months. 4 months. And the first 3 months, it didn't feel like it was getting any better at all. And I was getting a bit concerned because I was thinking, well, I've given up knitting, you know, what else do I need to do? Do I really need a ton of physical therapy or injections or whatever? And then in the 4th month, it started getting better. So that was very lucky, I think, in the end, especially considering how I had ignored the pain signals that my body was giving me. So yeah, I actually think I am going to get a drink because I am bloody hot. I got some water. Okay, where was I? Mount Pleasant. Yes, so I'm hoping this this yarn is going to work out, even though it's a bit thicker than is required. I think it'll be fine, but you never know. It's a linen, and it might be a bit denser when I've finished knitting with it. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I have this super cute stitch marker. I think I showed these last week. It's a little cake. Enjoying this pattern so far, and because it's a crop tee, it's not a monstrous knit. So I think that will be fine. What else do I have? Ooh, yes. I have a secret project. It's so secret, I can't find it. here it is. So a long time ago I bought some of this, which is yarn from Texel. Texel is one of the islands that are like little crown on the Netherlands. This is not soft. I was actually this afternoon, I have this from Daughter of a Shepherd, which is 75% Hebridean and 25% Zwartebles. I think most people would consider this a scratchy yarn, but it is so soft compared to this. If you would make face cloths, these would be perfect like scrubbies for like scrubbing your face. So I bought this because it's Dutch and I was interested in making something with it, but I struggled for the longest time to think of what it would be, because it is for sure not next to skin friendly. And I am knitting something, but a little coffee bean, because I'm not sure this is going to work out, and I might want to make a pattern out of this. So I'm not saying what it's going to be. It's going to be a little surprise, but I think I will have some more information about it in a week or 2 or 3 or 4. So you'll have to stay tuned for that. But I did want to show it because, yeah. It's actually, once it's knit up, it's not as bad as it is in the cake. This is like really rough. So funny how like, I think we all sort of categorize yarn under like, ooh, it's like superwash merino and it's like deathly soft, and then like everything in between, and then we have rustic yarns, and these are both rustic yarns. They're almost in the same color spectrum, but this is so much softer than this is, which is so funny. Oh, this smells so good. You need one of these just to sniff it all the time. The sniff is good. Anyway, so that's the secret project. I'm going to hide that away for a little bit. And those are my projects. Melanie, are you not knitting socks at the moment? No, I'm not. I don't know what's up with that. I'm sure. I think I just knit so many socks in the past few months. I'm over them a little bit. And I'm sort of in the garment era of my knitting. So I just have like two sweater whips, 2 jumper whips. Or actually, it's a sweater and a tee, but never mind. So on to finished objects. I finished my May sweater jumper. I'll put some pictures in here where you can see properly what it looks like, but this is it. Some of the, I think I need a little bit more lessons on short rows, but who's looking at that? Nobody. Yeah, so this is the May sweater, which is a pattern. Do I have a picture? I do. Pattern by Andrea Mowry, and it's supposed to be like a long tunic that you can wear over skinny jeans or leggings, which I wear all the time, so this is perfect. I knit this out of, oh, I've lost the ball band again. It's the Ravelry de Natura French yarn called in the Gilead weight. so that's their worsted. It's an organic yarn from France, and it is very, very warm, so I'm going to take this off in little bits. I made some modifications to the pattern. The original pattern has a V-neck in the front and a V-neck in the back, and I didn't do the V in the back. I just knit, because at a certain point you get here and you split for the V, and then you knit this chunk and then you knit this chunk, and I didn't do that. I didn't split for the V. I just kept on knitting like a square flap basically for the back, and it sort of worked out. I really like it. I don't think I would have liked the V in the back. It would have been I don't know, cold on the back or something. I don't know. I don't think I would have liked it. The other modification I made is the hem is a 2x2 rib, but I just liked the 1x1 rib that's in the V much better. So I did that for the arms as well. The whole thing is knit with knitting through the back loop on the knit side. So you're okay on the purl side, unless you're doing the short rows, but that's a different story. So if you don't enjoy knitting through the back loop, this is probably not your project. Yeah, I really like it. The yarn is very soft. I felt it was a bit short, and then I blocked it and it got really long, and I think that was because it's quite a heavy yarn. So I'm hoping it's not gonna increase in size much more, but if it does, I can always, you know, pop it in the washing machine and make it shrink back a little bit. Yeah, so that's it. It has like, you knit it in the round, and then it has like the faux seaming on the front, on the back, and on the sides. You do a 3 needle bind off to get this sort of, ooh, I put something in the window to make it less bright here, and that has failed. So you do a 3 needle bind off to get this ridge here for structure. I really like that. I think it's nice looking. And then you pick up stitches for the neckband and for the arms, which are just like this bit. And I was a little bit worried about picking up stitches because I've done like a sweater project a very, very, very long time ago, and I kind of messed up on the picking up stitches for the neckband in that project. But this actually is fine. It's not too tight, it's not too loose. One of the reasons I did not do the V in the back is because reading on people's Ravelry pages for their project pages, for this project, there was a lot of people said, oh, I've knit it too big, and having the 2 V's, the shoulders are constantly dropping. But with mine it doesn't do that because I have the yeah, the back's not a V, so the shoulders don't really have anywhere to go. I saw one lady, she'd done like this, the back like this, and then she'd added actual regular sleeves. So she'd like heavily modified it. So I would call this like a light modification. It was actually much easier because I didn't have to do all the janky short row business and the front that I did in the front. It was just like knit, flap, and done. So there was no thinking. So the good thing is that I'm running a knit along for this sweater. It's called the It's Gonna Be May knit along, and I've finished on time. The knit along runs until May 31st. It is May 21st now, so there are still 10 days in which it would be entirely feasible to knit this sweater if you're a fast knitter and if you have a ton of time to invest on it, you could totally finish this thing in 10 days. It's not a long knit. There are no arms to speak of. It's done very, very fast. Also, you don't actually have to finish the project to be eligible for prizes. So if you want to still apply for that, well, not apply, but join the knit along, you can go to the Braid and Tinker podcast group on Ravelry, and there's, I think it's just the top thread is the chatter and finished object thread for this knit along. I'm thinking about doing another knit along for the summer, but I just haven't decided what I want to do. I've seen a couple of people doing, well, there's like a ton of Harry Potter knit alongs as per usual, so I don't think I'll be doing that. I've seen like a couple of stash buster projects, and that I think is a good idea, so I don't know. I was thinking about maybe combining like stash buster and making Christmas gifts, because I know it's only May. Dare I say the dirty C word, Christmas. Christmas is coming. Well, it will be a long time still, but you know, it'll be June soon, and then it's almost December, so you need to get cracking, ladies and gentlemen who knit. Yeah. So I'm thinking about that because I have a ton of sock yarn that could be perfect for Christmas presents. So maybe I can like combine Christmas gift knitting with stash busting. I need to do a little thinky about that, but you know, let me know in the comments in the thing from YouTube how you feel about that. You know, maybe you're not a gift knitter for Christmas. I know I didn't knit anything for anybody last Christmas. I just bought presents and knit all the things for myself. But I have a ton of yarn and I might want to knit some things this year if I like give myself enough time. That time might be now. I don't know. Anyway, let me think and let me know your thoughts on the whole thing, and maybe you have a better idea for a summer knit along. I don't know. I'm also going to now change out of this sweater because I'm going to die. So hold on tight. This is not actually something that I knit. This is just a really, really, really old H&M like summer jumper. It's so weird and I just wear it all the time. So that was the May sweater. It's not actually my only finished object. I have two finished objects, and this is the other one. These are the Francis socks. And I blocked them last night, and boy is this yarn soft. It is crazy. This is a gold stellina base, 75% merino, 20% nylon, 5% stellina, and it's a lovely shade of peach, and the pattern is the Francis socks by Verity Castledine, I think. It's from the book called The Sock Drawer, and it's a really cool book, and it has all these different sock patterns. The only thing is they're knit top down, and I always knit my socks toe up, so this pattern is actually upside down, but I don't really think it matters, so I just thought I'd knit it like this. Here's its twin. I know, you knit two left feet. Oh, terrible joke. Yeah, I don't have much to say about this. It's just that I think it looks cool. Oh yes, last time I was podcasting, I was thinking about making them short socks. I just decided against it because I like the yarn so much and I wanted to use more of it. But funnily enough, I still have a ton left. I can't find it anymore, but here it is. So I weighed this morning. We have like a precision scale. I don't know why we need one, but sometimes it's handy for weighing your yarn. And this is almost 48 grams left. So I could totally knit some short socks out of this. And I have been playing around with designing some of my own patterns, so I might just do that. I do quite a lot of like scratchy of patterns in my Knitter's Bullet Journal by Yabble, because it's the perfect place to do that. So I don't know, I'm thinking about doing like a little collection of knitting patterns, but like sock knitting patterns. But the thing is, I kind of like things that are just, if it's just like a repeatable instep pattern that I can plug into my regular sock pattern. And I think most sock knitters have their own favorite sock pattern. You know, lots of people do afterthought heel or fish lips kiss heel, or they might prefer to do a twisted rib on the cuff. People do all sorts of weird things with their toes. So, you know, I think we all, like sock knitters who knit a ton of socks like I do, we have our sort of preferred sock knitting recipe. The only thing we want is like something different for this bit, for the instep. So, and that's the only thing that I'm really interested in. I don't want to convert people to my type of sock recipe. I don't think that's necessary. I think people have what works for them. But, you know, it's just stuff that goes on in my mind. As if I have time for any of these things. I don't really. Let's move on to acquisitions. So I didn't actually buy any yarn. There is some yarn on its way to me, but I bought that quite a while ago. It's from Bird Street UK, their May Sock Club. I got a message on Etsy today that they sent it, so hopefully it'll make its way across the ocean. Oh, it's not really an ocean, is it? It's just a sea. It's just the North Sea. Jesus, Mel. In a quick time. But who knows? I don't know. I've actually ordered, and this is completely non-yarn related, I ordered some Swedish clogs like, I don't know, 4 weeks ago, and apparently they're stuck in a depot somewhere in the Netherlands. It's the company that sent, well, the mail company is Parcel Express, which is I think a subsidiary of Royal Mail. They are totally crap at communication. I tried contacting them. I tried contacting them on Twitter. It takes them hours to reply to you. And then they say the most ridiculous stuff like, well, it's in the depot and we think it's with GLS and this is their number and you should contact them, but we're not sure and there was an address issue. I was like, was there an address issue? Like, why won't you let me know? It's so weird. So I don't know. You know, because they could have easily if there was an address issue, they could have easily tracked down the person who sent the parcel and have them communicate this with me. But now it's just like there's clogs stuck in a depot somewhere in the country, and I'm just kind of waiting for nothing. So I was slightly miffed about the whole thing. I did purchase yesterday. I went to a craft fair here in Haarlem. It was very small, but it was quite nice. The weather was really nice, and it was just a lovely atmosphere. I did actually buy something. I bought some earrings. I'm wearing them right now. They are from Jessica Halmshaw. She has an Etsy shop as well, and I'll link to that in the show notes. She is a British person who does paper crafts, but she actually lives here in the Netherlands, so I think that was why she was at this particular show. I just love her aesthetic. It was so cute. And she had like, these are like wooden laser cut, I think they're bears, but because they are white, I'm just calling them sheep. I'm making it work. But she had like a ton of stuff, and she had like little paper, no, so the same as these earrings, but then they were like leaf shape or little toadstools and lots of stuff. It was really adorable. This was actually one of the first stalls that I hit, and I was like, oh yes, give me these earrings, and I was completely excited, like, oh, I bought something. I might just go into a shopping frenzy, and then I didn't, because I think it was the only thing I really wanted to buy, so oh well. So that was Sunday. On Saturday I did nothing, because on Friday we had a hackathon at work, and what they did was they put everybody in a team and they gave us an assignment, which was a one button something, and then you had to make something software related, and my team made an app which looked really, really good. The idea, and it was actually my idea, so it was really cool. The idea was you could press a button, and then it would tell the system, I want to go on a coffee break, and it would automatically connect you to somebody else in the business who also wants to take a coffee break, and then you could go on a coffee break together and talk to each other, and you would meet more people who you normally don't talk to, and then you would learn more about each other's work. So I picked that idea because I knew it would score well with the judges, because they always like those HR type ideas. And we had some other fancy stuff that other people in the team came up with. So I really like the team that I joined, and we actually won, and it was great. The only thing was I was super overstimulated the whole day. It was like I came in like rushing, drinking coffee. At some point I was drinking too much coffee and I was like shaking, and I know when I get like this, I start talking really loud, and I'm like, haha, laughing at everything that's not really funny, and I was like going crazy and like just hacking in the code, and it was ugly as shit, but you know, as long as it works, it doesn't matter. And we won. It was exciting, and we had a little beer and celebration, and I came home and I was exhausted, and I woke up on Saturday and I could not do anything. I was a zombie all day. Well, most of the day. I got a bit better in the afternoon, and I just said, I have to get outside, I have to go for a walk, because I just need some fresh air, and I cannot cope with today. So I literally did nothing. I could barely knit, and that's like my sort of standard for no, do I feel okay? If I can knit, I'm usually okay. But if I can't even knit, it's... So anyway, that was Saturday. So I had a better day on Sunday. And I think I learned that I need to take it easy next time I do another hackathon at work. Thing is, so last year my team also won, so now I've won twice in a row. So I'm like dead set, if we do this again next year, I need to win again, because otherwise it'll be massive disappointment. I'm just setting myself up for failure. I think that was it. It wasn't a very long episode, was it? Oh, it was. I'm looking at the screen going 30 minutes. I thought I was talking for much longer than that. Then I realised I cut out halfway through to get some water. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like and or subscribe, because that helps me get this stuff out to more people. So that would be great. And I'll see you again next time. Bye. I have another secret word for you guys this week. The secret word is jammy dodger. And if you don't know what that is, you need to just Google it. But they're very delicious, and IKEA sells them now. So that's made me very happy. Jammy dodger.